Welcome back, everybody, to Orange Hat. Happy New Year. Hope you are all having a good start to your new year. Uh, I had COVID for the end of 2023, so yeah, now that I'm over it, I'm gonna have a much better year. Now, well, at least 6 months where I'm completely immune. But anyway, uh, it is now a new Tuesday theme for the Tuesday theme streams. This is a kind of reinvigoration of what I used to do, which was versus streams on Friday nights, and where it was character versus character. But in this time, it is movie versus movie. And I am doing movies that are similar, in which they have either a somewhat same theme or similar plot or similar genre. So what you might think is two drastically different movies may actually be similar with some of my picks. So before I get started, I do want to say hello to the chat. Neozoic, always good to see you. And Vanya, it's okay, man. You're only a few seconds late. So I haven't really started yet. And also, if you want to support my channel, please feel free to share the link out for my channel. It helps get my channel known. It helps other people find my channel, people that I may not necessarily know, but you do. Also, smash the like and just listen in. That also helps. Those three simple things: liking, subscribing, and listening. So, yeah. Without further ado, we are doing Violent Night and Fatman. And seeing how Christmas has ended, figured why not go with these ones, get these out of the way first, and then we will move on to more exciting topics, shall we say. So Fatman, I actually recently saw that last year during Christmas, and it's like, it's actually a pretty good movie. It's actually a very good movie. And I had already seen Violent Night. So it's like these two movies are very much alike because they both have disenfranchised Santa Clauses. They both have a Santa Claus that gets injured and has to basically heal. Um, they even have a freaking medical scene where Santa Claus got tagged by a bullet or a knife or something and ends up having to fix himself up and patch himself up. You also have a rather direct confrontation from a jilted kid or a jilted person who hates Santa Claus for a specific reason. They were on the naughty list, I guess. And it's essentially these two movies are somewhat alike, but also very different in ways too. Where Fatman is a more you got a lump of coal, so you put a hit out on him, to where this one is somebody robbed a house or a family house, and Santa Claus just happened to be there and get caught up in the middle of it. So these movies are different, yet they are also the same. Now, Fatman was very well written, directed, didn't rely too much on digital effects, where Violent Night does rely on digital effects. Fatman also has Mel Gibson as an actor, where David Harbour plays Santa Claus in Violent Night. You don't see any mall Santas in this one or in Fatman, where in Violent Night you do, where it's basically a mall Santa is talking with David Harbour. Now, me and Mara described Violent Night, so I'm not going to really be going over hashing out what the movie or scenes in the movie and whatnot. Although I really do like it, um, I will say that Fatman or round one, yeah, essentially Neozoic, which was what I was getting to. I gotta say, or I'm gonna break it down a little bit because honestly, I love both portrayals. But round one, which is Mel Gibson versus David Arbor. David Arbor, as much as I find his real life rantings to be somewhat distasteful and somewhat unlikable, I do find his acting method to be very well done. I think he is a great actor. I think that he puts a lot into his craft. Mel Gibson is no exception. I like him as an actor. I think he's a little bit out there real life, but honestly, I haven't much really read up on what he says because he really doesn't get all that public with his opinions. I mean, yes, he has said some things that are a little bit out there, but honestly, I haven't heard much about his difference or his political or anything like that. Now, where I absolutely like how this Santa Claus, Mel Gibson's Santa Claus, he's out there with the one or with the guns and whatnot, and he is basically just running through the running through the gamut of getting the elves set up for Christmas and whatnot, having them, but he's also not able to keep affording to do all this stuff either. So he has to basically think for what's best for them. And so he decides to have a military contract. Um, Mel Gibson plays the role very well. I think that he does a good job. They did a great job with the makeup, which was mostly just a beard or his beard, which I believe was actually his actual beard. So uh that was pretty interesting. I gotta say that I really did enjoy how he portrays the character. He's more gruff. He's more less jolly, more gruff. Where David Arbor, he is jolly, but he's losing his jolly. He's losing his ho ho ho, as he puts it. David Arbor is running through the sequence just like Mel Gibson is. He's he's been disenfranchised due to how he's disenfranchised because of how the naughty list keeps on growing and how kids have given into greed. Where Mel Gibson has been disenfranchised because, well, it's costing a lot of money to continue to do what he does, and he's not really making that much money. I mean, he's not capitalizing off of his image or his name. So, yeah, there's that. And when it comes to their violence and their methods and whatnot, honestly, I like the backstory of David Arbor, where he was a Viking. That's how he knows how to fight these people. He has, or he has been given a backstory that uh, explains why he prefers the hammer, why he is extremely, uh, why he can be capable of extreme violence and whatnot. So in that way, it goes a little bit towards David Arbor. Acting and whatnot goes towards Mel Gibson. However, these two characters are very much different characters. Um, where so in round one, as much as I love both of them, I do give it to David Harbour because they actually give a bigger backstory and a better backstory as to explain the capable of or the capability of violence for Santa, why he is capable of such violence. He was a Viking raider, essentially. Now, does that mean that he is the true Santa Claus and yada yada? Well, in that movie, he is. In Fatman, you don't really have a backstory as to why he loves guns and why he uses guns and whatnot. But I do like how he is going to be more proactive when he loses his eyes. Round two is villains. Round three is going to be the story. Uh, what makes one movie better than the other and whatnot. But round two is actually either Neozoic is reading my mind, or he knows the stuff very well, or he just knows my content very well. Round two, John Leguizamo versus Walt Goggins and Chance Hurstfield. John Leguizamo hates Christmas because, well, he unfortunately, his family fell in hard times. And in his lashing out, he caused a major problem, which ended up in somebody who was essentially died because of his lashing out. His lashing out resulted in the death of an old man, and then he became a professional criminal after doing the time. So then you have Walton Goggins and Chance Hurstfield. Chance Hurstfield basically hires Walton Goggins to take revenge on Santa because, well, the kid got coal for Christmas, because he's a very mean-spirited, and he's a very rich and snobby little prick in the movie. I mean, he was planning on poisoning his grandmother. So it's like, oh my God, dude, really? So when it comes to these two characters, um, Goggins and Hurstfield, Goggins plays a hitman who helps the little kid because, well, he's good money. But it turns out that, well, both characters, Leguizamo and Goggins, die, and the kid actually gets a good threat against him by Santa Claus, being like, if you try killing anybody, if you try doing anything naughty again, I'm coming for you. Because now Santa Claus only has one eye. But Leguizamo, he's willing to embrace that this is the real Santa Claus. I like how he does that. I mean, as much as I hate John Leguizamo as a person, the man is absolutely batshit insane, but he's a good actor. He's a good actor. Sup, Price is Right review is good seeing you. But when it comes to the villainy, the fight between Walt Goggins and the fight between and Santa and Mel Gibson versus the fight between John Leguizamo and David Arbor, I feel that they are very different. In one is more hand-to-hand melee, and the other one is more shoot 'em. And you also have Evil actually win against Mel Gibson, because he actually capped Santa Claus in the head, where David Arbor actually wins against John Leguizamo by magicking him up a chimney and basically tearing him apart by doing so. I mean, that whole rain of blood thing was actually pretty fucking hilarious. Um, so again, I give it to David Arbor. Walt Goggins still loses in the fact that Mrs. Claus saves the day in this case. Mrs. Claus was played brilliantly by the actress. I can't remember her name right now, but she's in this one, plus she was in Fatman. She was also in the reboot for RoboCop as the bent police chief. She's a good actress. I actually like her as an actress. She's a very good actress. I just don't know her name right now. I'm kind of drawing a blank on that. Never in my life would I have thought I'd enjoy Mel Gibson fight Santa. Mel Gibson didn't fight Santa. Mel Gibson was Santa. But in the term of villains, going back to that, because this chat just jumped on me when I was trying to highlight this scene. Marion Jean-Baptiste, yes, I do believe that is her name. But yeah, round two also goes towards Violent Night. They have him win, but also he nearly dies. Both characters nearly die, but I believe that it was a more positive storytelling of Violent Night. It actually had a really good villain that he's engaging throughout the entirety of the film. Where in Violent Night or where in Fat Man, it's just the one and done engagement where this guy's hunting down Santa Claus, you know? So it's actually 2-1, or it's actually 2-0, Violent Night in the lead. Round three, story. Fat Man is very straightforward. He's disenfranchised. He needs or he gets help by the military, and it is or they're basically working through the year to help, or they're working through January to help them basically be able to afford doing their yearly tradition, where Violent Night takes place in one night, which is Christmas, and it's basically Santa's in the wrong place at the wrong time, but ends up stepping up to save a family. Where Mel Gibson is trying to save his family. Um, so yeah, round three, story. I like the straightforwardness of Violent Night, wrong place at one or wrong time. Um, where Fat Man, it kind of presses a little too long. The story in Violent Night keeps the pace going. It's a good steady pace. Where Fat Man, it's kind of lumpy in its pacing. You get a good moment, you get a bad, or you get a little moment, you get a long, or and it kind of drags because Walt Goggins is trying to hunt down where Santa Claus lives, where Kris Kringle lives. And so he's having a hard time, or I fell asleep a little bit. I was actually noticed that I was starting to doze when I was watching Fat Man. So when it comes to Fat Man versus Violent Night in way of story, um, well, I would actually give the story over to Violent Night. Fat Man is great when it comes to uh the gun violence, where you have the um where you have how well he can wield the weapon and whatnot, but also in that case, it's very good with you have David Arbor, who's not really a gun person, more of a melee person, Santa Claus. So round three also goes to Violent Night. Round four, the bonus round, is supporting cast, which is a good choice, and which is also something that I was going to do. Jeez, man. Oh, lovely. Um, Thank you, Neozoic, for support or putting these up, by the way. Uh Supporting cast of characters. The kid in Violent Night, as I was discussing this with Mara, I believe that the kid in Violent Night deserves an award for her acting skill. I mean, this kid really did a good job being Santa's support, being Santa's rock, and holding him into the Christmas spirit. And I believe that she did a wonderful job. You also have the rest of the family that is just completely broken and dysfunctional, and a really insane stupidity to it. In the supporting cast for Fat Man, you have Marion Jean Baptiste, who plays Mrs. Claus. You have the elves, you have the government, you have Walton Goggins, and you have that rich, spoiled little kid, Hurstfield or Churchill or whatever, Chance Hurstfield. And well, they are the kid who plays the evil kid in Fat Man, very good. You have a great naughty kid that deserves what comes to him. You have Walt Goggins is such an underrated actor, an underappreciated actor. The man does a good job in everything he does because he puts a lot of passion behind his work. He plays good guys, he plays bad guys, he plays great conflicted characters. Conflicted characters like in The Shield. Walt Goggins is great in that show. That he played a cop who was forced to step over the line with the rest of them, and he just kind of embraced it, but also still realized there was some stuff he didn't want to do, you know, but had no choice in doing it. So Walt Goggins is great in Fat Man. Marion Jean Baptiste did a great Mrs. Claus. I mean, I absolutely loved how she kept him grounded, where he just wanted to give it up. She managed to talk him down, you know? And I do love how you have that camaraderie between the male and female protagonist. In Violent Night, it's a lot of actors that I didn't know. I mean, the girl is great. I don't know her. She's a young actress, so I wouldn't know her much from other works. But she came onto the scene and did a very good job with it. So while Fat Man has a better known cast and it's very good, and I actually give the bonus round to Fat Man in this case, um, Violent Night also had a good supporting cast. However, I didn't know anybody in Violent Night. David Arbor and John Leguizamo were the only two characters or the only two talent that I knew in the film. Where in Fat Man, I knew Mel Gibson, Marie Jean Baptiste, and Walt Goggins. And I believe saw the little or that other little shit in another movie. I can't remember which one though. But I do believe I seen him in another movie somewhere. So when it comes to supporting cast, Fat Man does take it. Um, so it's essentially now 3-1. Fat Man does take supporting cast. Overall story though, I like uh Violent Night. But let's get to some stuff. Nia Zog providing a thing here. How would I compare Walton Goggins' role in Fat Man with other roles such as Predators, Lincoln, Django Unchained, The Hateful Eight, Maze Runner, Death Cure, Ant Man and Wasp, etc. Um, Be- Beverly D'Angelo, I wasn't really aware of her before Mara Jade pointed it out to me. Toodle say. And hello to Toodle say, by the way. I don't think I've seen you in my chat, but thank you for stopping in, and I do appreciate it, dude. And you do make a good point, or you do make a good point. It's just that I couldn't remember her from what she has been in before. So, but Walton Goggins, this character where he plays this jilted hitman who hates Christmas, who would actually love to kill Santa Claus himself, uh, versus he uh, versus what he usually does. Um, or with Ant-Man and the Wasp, where he plays a businessman. Um, Predators, he played a convict. I haven't seen Maze Runner, Hateful Eight, or Django Unchained, or Lincoln, but he does have a good range. And I would actually say that this is one of his better roles because he can play reserved very well. He's not over the top like he was in Predators and in he wasn't or he was he really does play grounded characters very well. Over the top, he can sometimes get a little bit weird. He also does, or I do remember him also in Machete too, or Machete Kills. I mean, literally his voiceover for Lady Gaga's character was fucking nuts. um, he basically played a chameleon that was always pulling off different faces. But yeah. And so honestly, yeah, I think that Walt Goggins did a great job in this one better than the other ones. He's a great actor. Like I said, he's very under yes, National Lampoon. Um her role was a lot different between National Lampoon Vacation movies and yes. and I haven't seen those movies in a while, but my God, I'm gonna have to check them out again sometime when I'm able. But yeah, she does, or that's the only thing that I really know her of, except for Violent Night. So all in all, the final tally is Violent Night is 3, where Fat Man is 1. Now, which movie do I like best? Violent Night. I or while Fat Man has a great supporting cast, the story is very uneven. Don't get me wrong, I love both of these movies very much. They are required watching for me in December. So, yeah, when it comes to that in December, those are both required watching. However, Violent Night takes it. I think that Violent Night is the better Santa versus evil kind of film. I think that it has a lot to go with it. And I think that the movie also has a much more positive message overall. Greed hurts, and it can really diminish Christmas spirit. And even Santa Claus has his down days, you know? So, where Fat Man was more of I'm going to start being a lot more proactive because this little shit decided that he wanted to try to kill me. So, if you are on the naughty list, I might just instead kill you instead of just leave you a lump of coal, you know? I mean, that's not exactly a very positive message that you want to be sending. As much as I like that movie as a movie as an adult, how would I compare John Leguizamo, his role in Violent Night with his other roles such as John Wick films, Ice Age films, yep, the Sloth, and the Super Mario Brothers. Um, John Leguizamo, like I said, shit person in real life, amazing actor. Um, I think that, or there's a lot of stuff I do not agree with John Leguizamo, and he is very hardcore liberal, where I do, or where I lean more constitutional conservative. Um, or his role in the John Wick films as Aurelio, I actually thought was very good. It was only the first 2 movies where, where he's basically just a car shop owner. But as brief as he was in those movies, I thought he did pretty well. In Sid the Sloth, he's very childish, which I think really suits his role very well. I thought he was great in the movies. I actually liked the first Ice Age movie. The second one was okay. Third one was hilarious because of Simon Pegg. But yeah, I actually liked his. Or in I can't even remember the Mario movie. I mean, I remember little bits here and there. They're running through my head right now, but I don't remember much of his performance in that movie. Beverly was also in a comedy called High Spirits with Daryl Hannah, Steve Guttenberg, Peter O'Toole, and he's interesting. Haven't actually seen Fat Man. Have to check it out. It's very good. I very much recommend you check it out. Toodle say. I very much recommend you check it out. Walter Goggins was great in Six Show. Never heard of it, but but Walt Goggins, like I said, the man is very underrated. So yes, Violent Night is the winner. Honestly, I think that these movies should be required for, or if you like violent movies like Die Hard Christmas movies, like violent Christmas movies like I do, instead of all that hopped up positive cheer shit that I have to listen to all fucking year. Um, yeah, these 2 are definitely required viewing each year. Die Hard, or me, I prefer Die Hard, Lethal Weapon, these 2 movies, and a few others. The Christmas cheer thing, well, I'm older now. I get it. I get my Christmas cheer from the ending of Violent Night. Because Violent Night, has a wonderful ending where he is back into the spirit of Christmas. He is indeed very much, he got his ho 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 back. Where in Fatman, he still has his ho ho ho, but he's checking it with lead, you know? So that is going to be this versus. The winner is Violent Night. I think that the movie, as much as the movie relies on digital effects and whatnot and is very gory, I still think that it is a better movie of the Jilted Santa theme. I said Violent Night was Die Hard meets Home Alone on steroids. That's actually something that, yeah, it's Die Hard meets Home Alone meets a little bit of Fatman. Yeah, because Fatman came out like 2 years prior. And people decided to compare it to Fatman, so it's like, yeah, it's definitely Die Hard and Home Alone, and it's very true. Me and Mara agree with you there, Toodle say. But yes, next week is going to be disaster movies. It is going to be Armageddon versus Deep Impact. Armageddon with Bruce Willis versus Deep Impact with Elijah Wood and Morgan Freeman. Very heavy movie, Deep Impact, and very heavy movie. I mean, you're talking about extinction level events, you know? So this versus is concluded, folks. Thank you to Toodlesay, Vanya, Neozoic, and anybody or Price is Right review for being in the chat. You guys are freaking awesome people. I will be doing a special Thursday night stream, Thursday night with Fade Salvation, Wookie Be Bad, Mara Jade, GFan84, and Skyhound, where we're going to be talking about our love for Godzilla and Godzilla -1. It's mainly going to be a Godzilla -1, but we might touch on a little bit of stuff of what we heard about GV or GXK. So thank you to all who tuned in. I will definitely I'm definitely going to be watching or I can watch Armageddon literally in my head. I can watch that scene for scene in my head. I'm going to be watching Deep Impact later in the week so I can get it fresh in my head again. And I will let you guys know which one is coming next week or the week after next week, because next week is Armageddon versus Deep Impact. And yeah, I'm going to be, let's see here. Hey, Toodle say, hey, man, that's fine. I'm 39. You're more likely to be older than me, and that's okay, too. I have no problem with people who are older than me. I actually respect them more than I respect this younger generation. But, yep. Thursday will be the Friday, or will be the Godzilla -1, a discussion of fans. Friday will be Orange Hat Uncensored, where I will be giving my political stuff. Kamen Rider, how are you? And Happy New Year to you, buddy. You're just coming in on the ass end of it. These are shorter streams now. But thank you for stopping in, dude. Truly appreciate it. Make sure to smash the like button. Sunday will be my weekly recap where I'm going over some news stories from Hollywood. And tonight I'm going to be on the Barroom Podcast at 9 p.m. So go over to Society Reviews channel, subscribe to him if you haven't already. We're going to be talking some insane Hollywood stuff over the last week or over the last couple weeks, possibly, because, well, there's been a lot happening. And we also talk a little bit of sports and politics, too, over there a little bit. 1 plus to being 62. So nice. I saw most of the great movies when they came out. That's awesome. Much respect to you, Toodle say. And thank you for subscribing if you have subscribed. And thank you for tuning in. I do wholly appreciate it. You and many others are what keep me going on this channel. Anyway, folks, thank you so much for tuning in. Stay tuned for tonight. I will be on the Barroom Podcast on Society Reviews channel. We'll be discussing the Barroom podcast over there. And Wednesday, don't got much going, so I'll probably try to get more video content out. Oh, thank you. I'm sorry, I did not know. But thank you. I do very much appreciate it. Thank you so much, man. Or miss. But yep. Thursday will be 8 o'clock p.m. My channel will be the Godzilla discussion or Godzilla -1. Friday, Orange Hat Uncensored, late night 10 or a little after 10. If I'm able to make it, I will probably jump in because now we finally got our vehicle back. So I'm back on pickup duty for my stepbrother. Just don't usually say much. And yes, it's missed. Thank you. Thank you for pointing that out. Miss Toodle say. But hey, thank you so much for tuning in. And yes, I will be trying to get more videos out for you all. I'm going to try to ramp it up because my goal is to be at 2,000 subscribers by the end of the year. If I can reach 2,000, I've reached my goal. I was trying to reach 1,500, but unfortunately, I haven't, or I didn't reach it. I failed in that one again because I was trying to get to like 1,250 last year. Didn't really make it, but hey, just got to keep pushing. I'm hoping to get to 1,500 by my birthday, which is February 1st. Anyway, folks, thank you to tuning in. See you guys tonight on the Barroom podcast. Thank you to everybody. Y'all have a wonderful day. Happy New Year. Hope your all's New Year's went well, and hope your all's Christmas and holidays went well. This has been Orange Chat. Y'all have a wonderful day, and always remember, stay humble.